Howdy, folks. Little change of scene, just because this is the way the computer is pointed and I'm trying to get in the house. End of the day. I'm going to read a little selection from Visiting Tom. And so one of the coincidental ironies of writing this book is that a big part of Tom's story and the story I told in this book is how his farm was cut right in half by I-94 when they put it in. And coincidentally and ironically enough, as I was putting this book together and talking to Tom about his fight with the state, our local highway commissioner decided to do a little something with my road that I did not approve of. He kept saying they were improving it, that they were making improvements, and yet it got worse. And I care about words and their meanings. So anyway, he won. But that became part of this book. And so this little section here is just about watching road crews work. When I was a child, I lived beside a dirt road. Of all the vivid memory clips I retain from those days, few match the turbulent beauty of Bob Bowles' Plymouth Fury 3 streaking from between the pine trees and into the open on the road paralleling our meadow. The car a carbureted white rocket disgorging an oblong dust twister that hung to drift slowly over the corn. Bob was running two operations in those days, milking cows on his own farm southwest of us and also over on the A.C. Fortner place to the northeast, so he ran that Fury hard. No going out by the road until Bob Bull has gone by, Mom told us. But we'd get out there early and as close as we could for just that one moment when Beaver Creek Road became the Bonneville Salt Flats. Dust production was a big deal. My brother John and I pedaled our banana seat bikes frantically in an attempt to raise just one visible puff, which we associated with grown-up vehicles and grown-up velocity. We'd aim for sifty patches where the sand was extra fine and pump our pedals extra hard, looking back over our shoulders. We were thrilled when the thinnest wisp rose in our wake. We had broken the speed of dust. In that spirit, this summer, I have enjoyed the fact that our county road has been temporarily left in gravel so it can settle before the paving. To celebrate, I run a tad hot, even in the family van, on the way to Tom's place, in an attempt to produce a classic Bob Bull plume. How I smiled the day the girls and I ran a dozen eggs to Tom and Arlene, and Amy spoke up from the passenger seat to say, "Go faster, Dad, make it fly higher." One morning, instead of Bob Bowles shooting from the trees like a moon rocket gone sideways, a lumbering parade of bulldozers and turnipoles crawled into view. They arrived early because I remember seeing them first from an upstairs bedroom window and me still in my pajamas. You can bet we dressed fast, and for the next few weeks there was no end to the entertainment as the dark green earth movers bellered and wallered up and down the road, black exhaust boiling at the sky. The turnipoles were my favorite. There was something dinosauric in their articulation and the way they lumbered over the uneven terrain, the operator seated in a cab that jutted into the air ahead of the front axle and waggled about like the head of a monitor lizard scanning the bushes for food. When I recall how the operators jounced at their controls, I assume it had to be a vertebral horror, but from our vantage point, it was a carnival ride. When a dozer put its blade to the turnipole's rump, it was like a bull boosting a hippo, and the two would snarl and rumble until the earth came mounding up and toppled over the sides of the catch box, at which point the turnipole would snap shut its scraper jaw and roar off to the dump point. Once a turnipole got stuck down by where the new culvert was going in. As the giant industrial tire spun down to the axle, it flung sheets of soil like an angry rhino pawing dirt. The road crew used a corner of our hayfield as a staging area, and at night, when all the workers had gone home, we'd hustle down to where the equipment was parked, climb into the seats, and imagine we were reshaping the world. It seemed the work went on all summer, although it was likely a matter of days or weeks. In time, the paver came, laying down blacktop flat as a sheet of oily brownies. First chance, we zoomed out there on our bikes. No dust, but we never felt faster. I still retain that little boy's fascination with road crews and their equipment. Naturally, one fantasizes only in terms of safe and sunny days. Real road work is conducted in mud and dust and cold rain and boiling heat, and all too often within the kill zone of high-speed texting ninnies. When I saw the road crews staging their equipment early this summer, I looked forward to observing them in their work. I looked forward to the dust and the evident progress. I looked forward to letting my daughters investigate the fresh culverts and even clamber on the equipment, although vandalism, pretension, and the culture of liability have impinged that experience. Funny then how my feelings changed when I saw what they intended for our intersection. And then I see the next scene is about me going to the Highway Commission meeting and going one-on-one with the Highway Commissioner. I was so nervous, man. I can get up in front of 1,000 people and tell jokes all afternoon, but that silly little Highway Commission meeting, man, I had cotton mouth and everything. Anyways, I hope you're doing all right out there. And it was windy here today. Real dang windy. Hopefully no trees down over the driveway. All right. I'll see you later. Forward.